Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Sunday morning, and what a glorious, wonderful, sunny Sunday morning it is indeed. That was a lot of fun yesterday, wasn't it? How's everyone feeling today? I bet there are a fair few sore heads wherever you were watching it around the world yesterday. Arsenal 3, Tottenham 1, North London derby goes Arsenal way in convincing fashion as well. Fantastic performance, fantastic atmosphere, fantastic day. I put out a video earlier this morning, actually, if you haven't seen it yet. It was a bit of a sort of behind the scenes look at my day there, what it's like, and there's lots of stuff with the fans and the crowd reaction and the goals. Just tells you a little bit about the atmosphere of what it was actually like to be there. So if you haven't watched it yet, then please do go and have a look at it. I put it out this morning, but it was just a brilliant day, such a fun day. I went there. I tell you what, I was nervous. I really was nervous before the game. I also had a nightmare getting there. My usual traffic route and usual things with the trains were all messed up, and I ended up having to go somewhere I've never been before to get a train. And I'm so superstitious that I was convinced that meant we were going to end up losing. But nothing to worry about, because Arsenal dominated. Apart from that sort of 10-minute spell in and around when Harry Kane got the penalty, Arsenal by far the better team, and they absolutely deserved to win. And they made Tottenham look very, very ordinary. It was just a really good, fun afternoon in the Emirates sunshine, and it's tough. I don't know. It's tough not to get excited about Arsenal at the moment, isn't it? You want to come, you want to keep a lid on it. You want to, there's a long way to go, and Arsenal aren't going to win the title this season. I can't say that really, because you never know. Anything can happen in football. Leicester won the title, so you can't say it's not going to happen. But it's still very unlikely Arsenal are going to win the title. But they are. The more you watch them with each game, the more you think, this team seems to have something about them that means that they could potentially stay in and around it. Maybe not actually do it yet, because of the team that's ahead of them, and that's Man City, although no one's ahead of them at the moment, but you know what I mean. Man City are just that good. But the more you see performances like yesterday, even the performance at Old Trafford, and I've said it many times since that defeat at Old Trafford, I came away from that thinking this is a different Arsenal team. Just the way they played, the personality they showed in that game, and the way they still dominated it. And on another day, they could have comfortably won that game at Old Trafford. And just watching them yesterday, you just think, they look like they could stay the course this season. They've just got all around the pitch. They look good. Their squad is good. The bench is good. There's a couple of obviously areas where you'd be worried if you lose a couple of key players, but I think every team's got that. Man City would be worried if they lost Haaland, for example. So there is that, but still, they're just it's difficult not to be excited. I think next weekend's going to be really good, and I know Liverpool have been pretty awful this season. They dropped points again yesterday, but still, Liverpool always beat Arsenal. It's just almost a given. You turn up at Arsenal versus Liverpool, you're expecting Liverpool to win. I think they've won the last 4 in the league, home and away. So if Arsenal can put in a performance against Liverpool and get a result against Liverpool next Sunday, then I think that's the point that I'll really start to think, they could have a really good chance of doing something pretty special this season. And already they've got sitting on 21 points. I mean, that's a fantastic thing. To get the points on the board early is just fantastic. I mean, yesterday, the time of recording this video, they're 4 points clear. Probably only, you would think Man City will beat Man United later on. So it's probably going to be reduced to 1 point again before the game next weekend against Liverpool. But still, just to have those points on the board early, it's just a really big thing, because I've said it before, we don't know what's going to happen after the World Cup. That squeezing all those games into that second half of the season after the World Cup, it's going to be mad. It's total unknown quantity for everyone. So getting points on the board now is key. And so that was just a really important win yesterday. It opened up a little bit of space against Spurs, over Spurs, and that was a really good thing. And it's just going to continue to add to that belief that you can just feel around the place. There is something special at the Emirates at the moment. Not just the Emirates, around Arsenal at the moment. When you go to the games, you feel it and you hear it. And the atmosphere yesterday was just fantastic from start to finish. And when Kane scored again, as everyone went back to restart, it sounded like Arsenal had scored, not Tottenham. That was the sound of the roar that went round the Emirates. And it's happened pretty much every time Arsenal have conceded at home at the Emirates this season. The fans are bang on it. They're right behind the team. And it's been years since you can say that, and that's all credit goes to the players, Arteta, everyone, for being able to do that, because just a couple of years ago you would never have said it. I mean, the whole Xhaka redemption arc is testament to exactly what's going on at Arsenal at the moment. 3 years ago, 2 years ago even, You would just never have been able to predicted what's going on with Granit Xhaka at the moment. And, the scenes after his goal yesterday, man of the match, given man of the match anyway, he was awarded it. It could have been gone to anyone. There were so many good performances out there. And I think that just symbolises exactly how things are going at Arsenal at the moment. And it's just a very nice place to watch football. It really is. And it was just a really enjoyable day yesterday. And I'm waffling on. This video is not really about any insider news or anything like that. This is about talking about the North London derby. So forgive me for that, but I'm just in a very good mood. You can't not be on this Sunday morning. It was just a fantastic performance and a wonderful day. And a win against a top 6 side as well, which is obviously very, very important. Speaking about that, Mikel Arteta, we asked him in a press conference after the game, how important is it to get a win? After losing to Man United, how important was it to get a win against a rival top 6 side? It's 100% needed, because when you play such a big game, you want to win. Those opinions are correct, because when you look at the stats, and if you just put them into context, you can do it. It's how you go and receive the information that it does affect you. So he's basically saying there that if they had lost yesterday, it would have been mentally, it would have been a tough one to take, and it would have potentially started to weigh down on the players, because they'd lost at Trafford. If they'd lost against Tottenham, everyone would have been talking about it. Everyone would be saying the same thing. Arsenal can't beat the top 6. They continue to beat everyone else, but they'll lose against the big boys. And so mentally, it was really important to get that win yesterday. And I think Mikel, when he's talking about it, that's what he's saying there. And there were so many good performances yesterday. I saw in the ratings video I did afterwards, I saw a lot of you digging me out for giving Martinelli man of the match. And I can understand that, because everyone would have had their own opinion on who was man of the match yesterday. There were so many good performances. I think that also was such a symbol of how well Arsenal played. Is you could have given it to 5 or 6 players yesterday, and I don't think anyone could really have argued. Partey, absolutely brilliant. Xhaka, absolutely brilliant. William Saliba, an absolute monster performance at centre-back. I thought Martinelli was fantastic. I absolutely thought he was fantastic. He tore Tottenham to shreds all day long down that side. Gabriel Jesus, fantastic. So anyone could really have got man of the match yesterday. And I think, like I said, that sort of symbolises exactly how well Arsenal played. And Thomas Partey absolutely drove that team on in midfield. It was a big decision for Mikel Arteta to start him. As I previously said in videos during the week, the expectation was he's going to be fit, but still, in the back of your mind, there's always that fear of, would I be putting him in too early? Should I give him one more week's rest so that he doesn't re-aggravate the injury? Arteta chose to go with him, and it absolutely paid off. Brilliant performance in the middle party. Fantastic goal to get everyone to get the game going. It's interesting, actually, that Martin Odegaard afterwards, he was speaking, and he said that that's something that actually practiced in the build-up to the game. They sort of rehearsed that thing. He said, it was a great goal. We knew before the game that he was going to be free in those areas, and so we practiced it a lot to find him in those areas, and he made a great shot. He played a great game. All credit to him, and of course the team. I think that's where Arsenal, they did their homework on Spurs. They knew how deep Spurs were going to drop. They knew they were going to pack the penalty area. They were going to have the 3 at the back. They were going to have the 2 in front of them, just sitting right across the edge of the penalty area. So if Thomas Partey or Granit Xhaka could find a bit of space, could drop a little deeper, they'd have loads of space to get time to either measure a pass or get a shot away. So good homework for Arsenal there, good sort of planning, and it paid off with what was a brilliant goal. I have to admit, I was a bit stunned when it hit the back of the net. As it was rolling back to him, I was like, oh no, here we go again. Thomas Partey hitting it into the clock end, 10 rows back, and then he goes and picks out the top corner. It was it was a special goal, and really good performance from him, and Granit Xhaka as well. I mean, I've already mentioned him, but the goal itself just shows the confidence he's got to be there on the edge of the box, to actually beat Dyer the way he did, and then the finish, drilled into the bottom corner, just fantastic. And 2 goals for Xhaka, 3 assists already in the Premier League in 8 games this season. I don't think anyone would have predicted that at the start of the season, and it just shows how well things are going for Arsenal right now. And I can't wait for that for the Liverpool game next Sunday. I'm so interested to see how Arsenal do, because I'm so used to seeing Liverpool beat Arsenal, and fairly comfortably beat Arsenal. And if Arsenal can go in and put in a performance against them next weekend, then it's going to be very difficult not to start getting a little bit carried away with how things are going. I thought Tottenham were really poor yesterday. I have to say, Arsenal didn't. I think Arsenal were very good, and that didn't let Tottenham do much. But even so, I came away really surprised at Tottenham. I've seen them a few times this season on TV and thought, they've looked fairly average, but they've got the wins. And you will, when you've got forwards like Kane and Son, who fantastic in front of goal and don't really miss chances, then you're going to win. You're going to win plenty of games, even if you don't play well, because of that. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't quite sure what to make of them afterwards, and just the way they play, it was very Mourinho. It was really Mourinho-like. And I thought, if you can't watch that all season, you could sort of compare the two teams and the contrasting style of plays. I think I certainly know who I'd want to be watching week in, week out at the moment, and it certainly wouldn't be Tottenham. The way that they were playing, yes, I didn't quite know if your sole tactic is to hit on the counter attack. It's just not much fun to watch that. It was really not. Conte moaning after the game did make me laugh. Sitting there in the press conference moaning about the referee, saying, "Oh, I don't want to talk about the referee," and then basically saying all the referees need to get together and go to school to work out VAR because they're not good enough, and just made me laugh. It's football managers, all of them, they're all such hypocrites. They really are. It's like on one hand, a few months ago, Conte's sitting there at the Tottenham Stadium digging Arteta out for having a go at referees after the Tottenham game when Tottenham won there, sitting there saying he complains a lot. You shouldn't complain, blah, blah, blah. And then a few months later, sitting at the Emirates, role reversal, Arsenal have won, Tottenham are lost, Tottenham feel hard done by, and lo and behold, Conte's sitting there complaining about referees. It's just, they're all hypocrites, honestly. And I'm not digging out Conte there for it. They're all as bad as each other. And I include Arteta in that. It just makes me laugh how 1 week it can be one thing and then the next week they completely change their mind and they're saying something, whatever suits them best. Mikel was asked about it after the game yesterday in a press conference. Can you challenge for the title now? You're 4 points clear. Are you guys going to challenge for the title? And he said, I'll leave that to you guys, honestly. By that he means I'll leave that to the press to talk about. We are just at the start and we are really happy with where we are and understanding that you cannot control everything because emotion is related and the table says what it is, but it's not something that we look at. So he's saying that they don't look at the league table. I bet they do. I bet they do look at the league table. I bet they're sitting there looking at the newspapers this morning and thinking, yeah, that looks quite nice right now. I doubt they're not sitting there. They won't be thinking about a title charge or anything like that. And especially this team and the sort of age it is and the inexperience that it's got, they'll just be focusing on the next game. It sounds cliche, but I'm sure they will be. But yeah, it's still very nice to wake up this morning and look at the newspapers, look at that league table, and think, yeah, it's not been a bad start to the season. Can wind the clock back 12 months to where Arsenal were, to where they are now, and it's looking pretty good, I have to say. And next Sunday is going to be another really big one. Can't wait for that. There's obviously a game in between that. I'm sure we're going to see massive changes for the Europa League game on Thursday against Bodo. I imagine Mikel probably made 11 changes, not 12. Can't do that. 11 changes. Maybe you might keep one of them in. The centre-backs is a bit of an issue. It's like you almost have to keep one of the centre-backs in because Rob Holding will come in, Tomiyasu will go on the right, Tierney will go out left, but then someone else is going to have to play next to Rob Holding, and it's either going to have to be Saliba, White or Gabriel. And I imagine it'll probably be Gabriel just to keep the balance as the left-sided centre-back. And it was Gabriel who played in the first game in the Europa League, and wouldn't be surprised if it is him again. But other than that, it's going to be, I can't imagine anyone who started yesterday's game is going to be starting in that Bodo game. So, and you can't say the same for Liverpool because they've got a Champions League match. So you imagine they'll be playing pretty much the strongest side in that. And although it's on the Tuesday, a couple of days before Arsenal, so they do still get plenty of time to rest. Maybe Arsenal will have a slight advantage because they'll have a whole week's rest. So we shall wait and see. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of anything you've seen or heard or listened to on this video, and let me know what you guys thought of the derby as well and the performance, and our Arsenal title contenders. Let me know what you guys think, as always, in the comments below. Right, I'm off now. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Go out there and wind up any of your Spurs mates. Enjoy it, rub it in, because let's face it, that's what you're supposed to do when you've won the North London derby, and Arsenal did exactly that yesterday. Have a great end to the weekend, everyone. Speak to you soon.